All right, this is a family-friendly production, so I'll make sure we're clothed here. I don't know much about YouTube's algorithm, but I certainly don't want to get demonetized right away here. Okay, 20.1 is out, and it is a burner. It is an engine workout. You are going to feel bad at the end of it. Moreover, you're going to feel bad during it. So how do we get over that? Well, you finish it faster. How do you finish it faster? Be more efficient. And that's what this video is about. So starting off, what is the workout? The workout is, let's see, can you see it? I'm not sure if you're able to see that.
Bring you up a little bit here. I think you should be able to see that now. So the workout
is 10 times 8 ground to overhead with a barbell at either 95 or 65, followed by 10 bar facing burpees. So for that ground to overhead can be clean and jerk, it could be snatch. Really, those are the only two things you will want to do. I guess technically it could be a split jerk or a split snatch, but don't do that, that'll be a waste of your time. And the bar facing burpees, two very important things to mention there. First is if you touch the barbell, you're gonna have to redo that rep. That is a new rule, it wasn't in there before, so don't touch the barbell when you're jumping over. The second is the standards of stepping up. You can still step up, but you need a 2-foot takeoff. So that's a little bit different than last year, where you could step up and do a single foot takeoff. This year you need to step up and do a double foot takeoff. So make sure you do that if you're doing RX. First off, for warm up, what would I suggest? Well, I would really suggest warming up your lower back and your shoulders. So your lower back, especially when you're doing your clean and jerks or when you're doing your snatches, that's all going to be your lower back. Especially if you're cycling it and bringing it down here, you're going to get impulse on the bottom of your lower back. So make sure you warm it up. Something like scorpions is going to be fantastic for warming up. Mix that in with some rowing, which also gets you going. Maybe even do some burpees over the rower while you're warming up would be a fantastic option there. All that is going to warm up your back. Then when you get the barbell out, make sure to do some deadlift. Maybe even put a little bit heavier weight on the bar for when you're doing the deadlift, just to make those first few rounds feel a little bit lighter when you pick up the barbell. The other thing you need to warm up is your shoulders. Specifically, I would do banded shoulder drills. You're gonna be overhead a lot and you're gonna be doing burpees a lot. Make sure to not neglect warming up your shoulders. After that, I would do just generic push-ups, but while you're doing those push-ups, I would really focus on learning how to do some, there's a beeping going on in the background. I'm gonna edit this. Now, where were we? Talking about warming up with push-ups. When we're warming up with our push-ups, I would warm up that 1-foot step up that you're going to have coming out of the bottom of the burpee. You're going to be using that a lot. So getting into the workout specifically, as a general rule, you're going to be breaking this into a few different rounds, obviously 10 rounds, but in your mind, the effort levels are going to be different for each of those 10 rounds. The first 3 rounds are going to go pretty smooth for everyone. I would say this is where some people take it out too fast, some people take it out too slow. If you are part of that fast group or if you're part of the slow group, you'll go into this set of 4 to 6 rounds feeling about the same. The effect of that sprint will not have taken effect yet, and really 1 to 6, no matter your effort levels, is going to feel decent. However, round 7 and 8 is where it's going to hit you. If you went out too fast in the first 3 rounds, 7 and 8, you will die. Or if you went out too slow, by the time you're in your 7th round, you don't have time to catch up to the point where you'll make up that time of the majority of the workout having been completed. If you went out just right, just like in the children's, the porridge, the bears. I can't remember what it is, tip of my tongue. Anyways, if you went out just right, you should be feeling in pain for those, but you should be able to push through at a consistent rate. And then 9 and 10, obviously, just sprint it out, go as fast as you can, and finish out the workout the best you can. As far as the specific movements go, I'm gonna start with the burpees. I know they come second, but they're a little bit easier to talk about. You have 100 of these. It's a 15-minute time cap and you have 100 of them. For some of us, that might be a limiting factor in itself. 100 burpees in 15 minutes might be the fastest we can do 100 burpees. So use everything you can to your advantage. Step up every time. You do not need to come out of the bottom of the burpee and jump forward. You should step up every time. Another thing you need to do is, because you're stepping up and last year's standards might have confused you, don't get dinged on not going 2 feet over or touching the barbell and having to do an extra rep. Extra reps are no good. You don't want to have to do it. Make sure every rep is perfect or at least legal. Then finally, another thing that I highly suggest is finish 10 at a time. So if you're doing a burpee and then you stand up all the way, and before you get into your next burpee, you do a little bit of this, don't do that. Save that for after your set of 10 burpees or after your set of 8 ground to overhead. Try to make these as close to unbroken for as long as you can, because by the end of the workout, when you need to break them up, if you have already started breaking them up in the first few rounds, you're not gonna have time to do that because you're gonna hit the time cap. On to the ground to overhead. First off, you can resort to clean and jerk if you are dying or if that is a highly preferential movement to you. If you're limited by shoulder mobility and just doing a snatch, muscle snatch, power snatch is not an option for you, that's okay. Clean and jerk is an easier movement. You will not be as taxed doing that. That being said, it takes longer to do a clean and jerk. So what should we ideally be doing? 10 rounds of snatches. What might end up happening is maybe you do, like I mentioned, these different rounds here, maybe you do rounds 1 to 6 snatch, realize that you need a little bit of a reprieve, hop into 2 rounds of clean and jerk to finish it off with 2 rounds of snatch. If that makes it so you can keep on doing 8 unbroken, minimize that rest like I talked about in my previous video to get that barbell back up, then absolutely it's worth it to do them. Don't think that just by going and doing clean and jerk, you are now out of the running for a good pace. If you can get the barbell up faster than someone doing snatch, then it's worth it to do that. Another thing that I highly suggest, I suggest it in all the classes that I teach, and at this point, if you don't have it, then it's probably too late, is use that hook grip and tape your fingers. If you hook grip, then grip will not be a factor in this workout. I know there's a lot of burpees to kind of lower down how many relative amount of time spent doing snatching, but that is still 80 snatches that you're going to have to do if you do them all snatches. Your grip will be wearing down, but not if you're just holding onto your thumb instead of your thumb holding onto the barbell. And then tape fingers. Ask around. If you go to my gym, I'll give you tape. Just ask me. Tape it up. It makes your thumbs much easier to grip. Another thing here, just like with the burpees, try to do these 8 unbroken. The weight, both for RX and scaled, is something that everyone should be able to manage a set of 8 at. So try to do it unbroken because you want to be taking the rest in between each of these sets. That is where the rest comes in. If towards the end you do start to get tired and you're looking at the barbell thinking you can't do a set of 8, I would swap to clean and jerk before I decide to do maybe 5 and 3 of snatch. I'd rather do 8 clean and jerks unbroken than 5 and 3 snatch, because the 8 clean and jerks unbroken is 1, going to be faster because I'm not breaking, and 2, it's going to save me a lot of energy because clean and jerk is a much easier movement. Anyways, you guys, that is 20.1 in a nutshell. Please leave any comments below if you have any questions. I'm really excited for this with the caveat that I'm not great at burpees. So I'm hoping my engine can carry me forward and that the relatively low weight of 95 will be fairly graceful to me and it won't be as much to other people. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe and share this around if you have any other friends doing 20.1 and they're just kind of lost because it's 100 burpees and 80 snatch or 80 ground overhead in 15 minutes, which is aggressive. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next week. Hey guys, super quickly here, one thing I forgot to mention is the idea of pacing. So this workout is a great example of what to pace and also a great example of really hard workout to pace. So here, if you go every minute and a half for 10 rounds, that's 15 minutes and that's your cap. If you watch the open announcement, Rich Froning finished in 10 minutes. So if you had the idea to do an EMOM here, you're gonna be pretty hard pressed unless you have pretty similar athletic ability to the GOAT, Rich Froning, to make an EMOM of 10 minutes. So what should you try to do? Well,
If you think that you can do a round, maybe do a few rounds in warm up and see what your time is and think, okay, under a minute 30 is doable. Let's try for a minute 15 EMOM. That would be a pretty viable solution to do. However, when I like to do that, I like to buy myself a few seconds on the first few rounds. So if I'm gonna do a minute 15 EMOM, the first round or two, I'll probably do in like 110. So I secure myself 10 seconds there. And then the back last rounds, maybe I'm a little bit tired going above 115, but I try to press through under 115 and just sprint it out. So that's just a little thing I'm pacing here. You need to be between a minute and a minute 30 on your round pacing. Obviously, if you're a very top tier athlete, you're going to be below that. But a minute to a minute 30 on your per round pace would be a good way to pace this if you really just have no idea how fast to go out, because 10 rounders are pretty deceiving as far as workouts go. Anyways, round 2, have a great one. See you guys later.